Welcome back everyone. If you're coming over from my TikTok channel, welcome to my YouTube channel, where today we're going to be talking about the 19-year-old lesbian who was targeted for being a lesbian, Kady Grass. Let's get right on into it. Prosecutors are considering hate crime charges against two people accused of brutally jumping a lesbian at a McDonald's in northwest suburban Carpentersville. Kady Grass, 19, suffered a broken nose and a hemorrhage on her eye in the attack, which happened on May 13th when Grass was visiting family from Wisconsin. Grass said she and her 13-year-old cousin were getting food at the McDonald's when Grass left to use the bathroom. Both restroom stalls were full, so she walked out to stand by her cousin while she waited for the restrooms to open up. And that's when a boy who was with two men called Grass the F slur as she passed them. Letting young boys use the F slur at a 19-year-old girl walking by. This is the level that we're dealing with here. So they followed me to the front of the McDonald's, so I told my cousin to just look forward and not give them a reason to talk to us, which is the correct thing to do. You don't want to instigate anything, and if you're feeling unsafe, make sure that you get yourself somewhere safe, make sure that there are people around you, and if you can, call someone to come and pick you up, because you don't want to get into a situation. But it apparently did get into a situation, so let's read on. But the boy kept calling Grass homophobic slurs and an argument ensued, she said. The boy told Grass they could take the altercation outside, prompting Grass to hand her phone and her wallet to her cousin before heading outdoors. Do not do that. Not to be like the big brother in this situation, but please don't do that. If people are threatening you, go find yourself somewhere safe. Call someone if you're feeling unsafe and get them to come and pick you up. Make sure that somebody knows where you are, what's going on, and just get the fuck out of Dodge. Get the fuck out of that situation. They never came outside, but my cousin overheard them talking about how they were... Oh my god. Dude, no. I feel like some people just go out looking for a fight, I swear. But we'll get into more of that in just a second. But it's just, who has the mindset when you see a 19-year-old walk into the bathroom, regardless of what they look like, to yell slurs at them and then to threaten them? It's just... It's a little bit concerning, but let's see. Let's read on. Grass re-entered the McDonald's and the boy got in her face and continued harassing her, she said. That's when one of the adult men, an adult man who should know better, who was with the boys, got involved by also stepping closer to Grass as they argued. Teach your kids. Teach yourself. Like, this is not adult behavior. The third person in the group stayed out of the incident, Grass said. Look, aggressive men rear aggressive boys, and this is the problem. We need to be teaching people compassion. We need to be teaching people empathy. We need to be teaching it most of all to our children. I pushed the adult back, not aggressively, more so to get him out of my personal space, Grass said, and then he got back in my face and hit me. The man started hitting Grass from the front while the boy attacked from behind, Grass said. Eventually, the McDonald's manager came running out of the bathroom and tried unsuccessfully to break up the attack. All I remember is the boy pushing the manager and hitting him to get him out of the way, Grass said. Then the boy hit me directly in the nose and broke it, and I went to the ground, trying to find my way to protect more of my body. But the boy started stomping on my head. Grass eventually passed out, regaining consciousness after the attackers had left, she said. I had handprint bruises all over me and bruises everywhere from being kicked and stomped on, Grass said. Carpentersville police announced May 17th that John Camrad, 19, and a 17-year-old boy were arrested on felony charges. That's not a grown-ass man. Look, I know that 19 is legally an adult on paper, but 19-year-olds, look, maybe I'm just old, but yous are still children. Stop being fannies. Were arrested on felony charges, including aggravated battery causing bodily harm. The boy turned himself into the authorities on May 16th, while Camrad was arrested a day later, police said. Grass said she was relieved the two were arrested, but struggling to understand why they weren't charged with a hate crime. This all started because I look the way that I look, and I'm a lesbian who dates women instead of men, Grass said. I don't understand how hate crime charges didn't happen when the whole argument and how it built up to battery charges was because I am the way way that I am. I heard online that she was in the bathroom and that they followed her in, but according to this article, she wasn't in the bathroom at all. If anybody knows and can correlate what happened during this, like, is the article right? Are people reporting on them going into the bathroom being right? Let me know in the comments down below. But this is really, really just a testament of how dangerous this mindset that these guys have is and how just the state of the world is going right now. What concerns me is that I'm not a lesbian, but I'm a preteen, pre-surgery trans man. And what's the difference? What's the difference? If she got attacked because of how she looked and they made an assumption, what's stopping me from being next from someone else making an assumption? Do you know what I mean? Like, this affects everyone. What if it was just a straight lady with a short haircut? Or what if it was just some lady somewhere minding her own business who didn't look the way that these men think that a woman is supposed to look? Like, is she next? It's absolutely baffling. But Kady does have a GoFundMe campaign going to help raise funds for the medical bills. I will have it linked in the description box down below. If you want to help out with the GoFundMe, then please, the link is there. But this is insane. But I don't want to fearmonger. This is a terrible incident, and it really spotlights the problems that we're all facing right now, whether it be like trans people, whether it be like gay people, whether it be like just women in general, that there was no trans people involved in this attack at all. It was aggressive cis men. But this whole situation is a TERF's wet dream because it was aggressive men in an environment where all of their target demographics were targeted. She was 19, technically a child. She was a lesbian. She was a woman, all targeted by men. And TERFs have been saying for ages that men are the issue, right? They really mean trans women, I know that, but just walk with me through this thought process. I swear to God, I've got a point. Men are attacking lesbians. Men are attacking women. Men are attacking children. Protect the women. Protect the children. Protect the lesbians, right? Well, jump scare, it's JK Rowling. This is what JK, haha, I'm joking, Rowling, Moldamot herself has been saying is the fundamental issue with society today. That men are targeting women, are targeting children, are targeting lesbians. And obviously, we know, I know that my followers aren't stupid. We know that she means trans women. Trans women are women. Let's get that fucking clear. They are not the ones targeting women, children, lesbians. However, this ticks all of those demographics, right? Like, she's a feminist, right? Wink wink. She's protecting the kids, right? Double wink. She wants to bring awareness to the fact that men are damaging all of these demographics, right? So let's see what she says about the Kady Grass incident, shall we? So I'm scrolling. It's transphobia, more transphobia, more transphobia, more transphobia, targeting trans people, more transphobia targeting trans people, sharing things from transphobes, even more transphobia. This was May 18th. I'm going to keep scrolling. I'm looking for it, targeting trans people, targeting women in sports, targeting people, targeting transphobia. I'm going to keep scrolling. Where is she? Kady Grass. Surely this is something someone who defends women, who defends children, who defends lesbians would want to talk about. No, it's just transphobia, and now we're in May 10th. So nothing about Kady Grass. Maybe, just maybe, it's in her replies. So let's have a look at her replies. So, Kady Grass, transphobia. Oh, homophobia, transphobia. Nothing about Kady Grass. Nothing. Just a whole load of transphobia, homophobia, a whole bunch of things. Oh, she thinks she's funny using the South Park memes. This is, and I apologize if you are a follower of me and you're over a certain age demographic. This is not a jab at you. This is just a jab at her. This is the most boomer energy I've ever seen in my fucking life. And that's coming from a cringe millennial. What did we get to, May 10th or something like that? So nothing. I'm not seeing anything about Kady Grass. My God, she posts a lot. This is chronic. So her replies go back to May 23rd, but nothing about Kady Grass. Just a whole load of transphobia. Now, the replies only go back to May 23rd. So I know what you're going to say. Well, this happened around May 13th, so what if she did say something? Well, what we're going to do then is we're going to go to her page, I'm going to type in here. So from JKROWLING, we're going to type in Kady Grass. Let's go. Okay, some things have come up, but I don't see anything actually about Kady Grass, just more transphobia. And then this is all the way back into 2020. So literally nothing about Kady Grass. This is from 2020. This is from 2020. This is from 2020. So literally nothing about Kady Grass. So why? Why are the TERFs so silent about this? Is it possibly because a trans person wasn't involved and this kind of like debunks their whole trans people are out to get you stigma that they constantly talk about on the internet and proves that trans people had nothing to do with this attack on this 19-year-old lesbian? It was men. It was aggressive men with homophobic intentions, with homophobic thoughts in their head and nasty intentions. It's absolutely disgusting to see. I just want to put out a very important message. Please, if you are a young person specifically, I know you think that you can take on the world, but if you are in a situation like this, where you feel that it could escalate into something as horrible as what Kady went through, please remember, just keep yourself safe, keep yourself connected to the people, make sure people know where you are, call someone immediately to come and pick you up and make sure that you are taken away from your aggressors. Keep yourselves safe. What really pisses me off about this situation, apart from, I don't know, all of it, is that there was a minor there were many minors present, but there was a 13-year-old with Kady who could do nothing to help her and was forced to just stand there and watch as Kady was set upon by these boys, essentially. Like, I'm not going to pretend like 19-year-old isn't an adult on paper, but they were boys. They were boys who have been taught by online presences, by people preaching that being gay is wrong, being trans is wrong, people who have been given the okay by people like JKROWLING to go and harass people for their sexuality and for their gender and for the way that they look. I saw a couple of TikToks, one of which I featured in my previous video, but I want to feature it here in this context as well because I think it's relevant. But the first TikTok that I saw talks about how trans people are being used as a way to kind of like govern society as a whole. Now, yes, it is very targeting. I know a lot of trans people feel very isolated and targeted here, but I'm not going to take away from that. But what I am going to say is that I want the trans community to remember that it's not just about us, it's about everyone. And I know you know that, but I think it needs to be reiterated because a lot of trans people are feeling very alone and targeted right now. It is a system that is not just targeting trans people, it's targeting minorities, it's targeting children, it's targeting women, it's targeting people who don't fit into gender boxes that society deems correct. But let me show you this TikTok because I think it's very insightful.
Trans people are a perfect population to road test authoritarianism in the United States because it's such a small group of people that you have convinced other people that they shouldn't care about. So you can actually experiment on the cocktail of regulations and laws that you'll then expand to wider populations because they fundamentally understand that their policies are unpopular. And the only way that they will sustain them over time is to remove people from public life that can have an influence in voting and protesting and making their voice heard over time. So they have to shrink who's actually defined as an American. And all they're doing with trans people is experimenting on how to do that.
What the trans community does is expression. It's expression of the self, it's expression of thoughts, it's expression that expands out and gives other people freedom to express themselves, to be themselves. And what I think is happening, as you guys can tell me your thoughts in the comments down below, is bigotry always needs an enemy, right? It's how bigotry exists. It's how fascism exists. They always need a common enemy. So if they make trans people the enemy, they can start passing legislation that says like, oh, this trans issue thing is our way of protecting women, is our way of protecting children, is our way of protecting us as a society. If you convince enough people that trans people are bad, it doesn't matter what the rest of that legislation is because the common man, the common person, the common voter isn't reading every little piece of legislation. They're going to see that buzzword trans and think trans bad. I vote for this because I vote for things that protect society. Trans don't protect society, therefore I vote for this. But then what you're seeing is legislation that's being branded as trans bad, then rolling over and affecting women, cis women who aren't trans, children, women's bodies, women's healthcare, marginalized societies, not just the trans community, minorities as a whole. Segregation is starting to come back in to protect white women when really it's being branded as keep trans people out of bathrooms. And then we're seeing things like pieces of legislation being targeted as like protecting kids, like ban this trans thing because we're protecting kids, but at the last minute they're slipping in legislation to effectively affect all trans people. They're trying to like eradicate trans people. But because people see it as, oh, this is bad for kids, I want to protect the kids, I want to vote for this to protect the kids, they don't then notice that that little piece of legislation gets slipped in right at the last minute. I found another TikTok that explains it better than I can. Let me get it for you.
The United States House just voted to eliminate trans health care for all trans people that are on Medicaid. In a one vote difference, the Republicans won the bill in the House to remove health care for all trans people. Now, initially, it said minors, but at the last minute, because this is what we told you was going to happen, they went ahead and they removed for minors to include all trans people. And that's how these people get bills passed. That's how they sneak it by you. They spend millions of dollars in propaganda telling you it's about protecting children, it's about protecting women. And why would removing gender-affirming care for millions of trans people have anything to do with either?
And I think that's a really good point. So the whole branding of it is trans bad. You make the common man think trans bad. So when they see trans in a legislation, trans bad, protect kids, they'll think, I will vote for that. But then at the last minute, they slip in, well, you've just voted for eradicating all trans people. Good job, everybody. Good job. Because it was never about protecting kids. It was never about protecting women. It was never about stopping trans people. Scary. Bathrooms. It was all about controlling how people think. It's all about controlling the masses, controlling society, keeping them under the thumb. It's about controlling voters. And this is where I'm going to feature the TikTok that was in the previous video that I made because I feel like it's really relevant in this context. It is a long one, but trust me, it makes a lot of good points.
The cruelty is the point. The cruelty is the point. We know it is because history isn't. History recorded differing expressions of gender for thousands of years. Good old-fashioned American history isn't even the point. Non-binary individuals have been in the public record here since 1776. Biology isn't the point, because intersex people who by their very existence defy a binary system are as frequent in the population as redheads. Public safety isn't the point, because trans people are by the multitudes more likely to be victims of crimes than perpetrators. Bathrooms aren't the point, because more elected Republicans have been arrested for crimes in bathrooms than trans people have. And protecting women in bathrooms isn't the point either, because the language being used right now is nearly copy-paste from Jim Crow era arguments that white people needed separate facilities and bathrooms from black people to keep white women safe.
Yep.
No, medical ethics aren't the point, because every major medical association supports gender-affirming care. And medically unnecessary surgery isn't the point, because the most frequent gender-affirming surgery that happens in the United States is actually on young cisgender males who get extra breast or chest tissue removed. And regret isn't even the point. The average rate of regret for gender-affirming surgery is 1%, compared to more than 14% across all surgical specialties. Saving women's sports isn't the point, because lawmakers have slashed funding for women's athletics for decades.
Yep.
Protecting cis women in sports isn't even the point, because these same regulations designed to exclude trans women are actually actively excluding cis women too.
Yep.
And equity and strength isn't the point, because trans women are being banned from activities like chess. Parental rights aren't the point, because these laws are actively banning parents from choosing what's right for their kids if they choose to affirm their identities. Religious freedom isn't the point, because validating trans people doesn't violate anyone's religious beliefs, but the government denying their existence arguably does violate the beliefs of the many denominations and spiritual practices that believe in gender diversity as part of their faith. Free speech most definitely is not the point, because the same people claiming to uphold it are currently banning words, conversations, and flags. Women's rights aren't the point, because while trans inclusion takes nothing from women's rights, the rollback of gender and healthcare protections and the push for traditional gender roles again certainly does. And broadly, children's well-being is definitely not the point, because the same lawmakers that are banning gender-affirming care are also banning books, cutting school funding, and attacking LGBTQ+ families, all while stripping the affirmation from children that research shows keeps them alive.
Yep.
The cruelty is the point. The cruelty is the point. It is the vicious, vile point of all of it. Do not let anyone tell you otherwise.
And that's the point. That's the point of it all. It's always been about control. It's always been about controlling society in a way that keeps them complacent. We see it across history a lot. As soon as society gets even remotely too progressive, there's always that pushback from the far right. In either way, the balance of the status quo gets upset, and people think that progression is detriment to society. It's all about maintaining the status quo, and everybody has a different perspective of the status quo. And of course, the far right's perception of the status quo is traditional families, traditional gender norms, and stomping on women, essentially. So my point is, the point that I'm trying to make is that I know it seems very isolating for trans people right now, but I want you to remember that we aren't the only target here. And I want other people to remember that what affects us also affects them. It affects women, it affects minorities, it affects children, it affects men who don't fall under the big strong man stereotype that society deems as the only way to represent masculinity. It affects everybody. In one way or another, this is going to come back and hit us all. So my message to the trans community that I want to bring to light in all of this is to keep going, please. Please keep going. Out of spite, if out of no other reason, keep going. Your mere existence is resistance. I know it seems incredibly isolating right now, and I know that it seems like incredibly targeted, but we're all here fighting for you. And when it starts to roll over and start to actually affecting other people, because it's affecting people now with abortion rights, it's affecting children with their education systems, all of this legislation is one huge distraction from the fact that people are poor. People aren't getting paid enough. Healthcare is plummeting. Education is plummeting. Living standards are plummeting. Everything that should be taken care of in society, the bigger issues in society to help maintain happy citizens, is being overlooked, and trans people are being used as a straw man to test out controlling regulations that are then going to roll over into other aspects of society, like I keep saying. So what I want you guys to do is to just keep going. I'm not trying to take away from the severity of the situation. I'm trying to bring a little bit of hope that we're all in this together. We've got your back. There are people out there fighting for you. I need you to keep going. I need you to stay strong. I need you to know that you are safe within certain communities. Obviously, you're safe here. There are people out here that are not trans that are still fighting for you, because it will affect them, and it does affect them, and it's the right thing to do. I could literally ramble on about this all day, so I'm going to end the video there, but I want to say a huge thank you to everybody who has subscribed. We just hit 5k subscribers, and now we're on the road to 6k, and I'm so excited to see all of the wonderful comments from all of the trans community or allies in the trans community coming into all of my videos. It's an absolute pleasure to meet you all. Thank you for being here. If you want to join a trans friendly community, remember I do stream games on Twitch. The links to my Twitch account and all my social media things are down in the description box down below. Remember that link to the GoFundMe is down there as well. Consider hitting that subscribe button, hit that like button, tell me your thoughts on this whole subject altogether. Consider joining the channel. I'll be starting to make members only videos soon, just as a little reward for the members that we are getting. Thank you for joining the channel as a member. I really appreciate it. Stay strong, guys. I know that it's getting to a point now where the sentiment of stay strong is becoming it might be becoming redundant. I don't think it is, but it might be to people. But I want you to remember, just keep going. Like I say, out of spite, if nothing else, stay strong, keep going. You're fabulous and you're so valid, and I'm so proud of you for being here. I'm so proud of you for being yourselves, and I'm so proud of you for standing up for not just the trans community, but for women, but for children, but for minorities, for everyone. We're all in this together. We're all in this together. Fucking hell. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys. Stay strong.